Well, howdy there, Internet people. It's Bo again. So, today we're going to talk about a missing takeaway. There's a conversation that's happening because of a whole bunch of events, and it's the way wrong conversation. Because one, what's being asserted is just not true. And two, that conversation is, it's overshadowing a much more important takeaway. So that's what we're going to talk about today. If you've missed it, a whole bunch of journalists, correspondents, and reporters have had, let's just call them less than favorable interactions with the law this week. The takeaway that's being discussed is that, well, these actions, they're going to have a chilling effect on free speech. They're going to chill freedom of the press. The takeaway being that the journalists, correspondents, and reporters that ride into events like that, well, they're going to stop doing their jobs because of this. Okay, that's just not true. That is not true. I happen to know a few journalists like that go to those events, or that used to. No, it's not going to chill them. It's not going to deter them from doing their job. They love that stuff. That's not a traumatic event for them. That's a cool story to tell later. Now, if it was more severe or more prolonged, maybe. But right now, no. No, it's not even a worry. I know a lot of journalists who actually really enjoy that type of stuff. I mean, they love it. I'm looking at you, Ford Fisher. But this whole conversation is overshadowing something much more important. None of these journalists were threats. None of them were threats. None of them could be mistaken as a threat, but they had force used against them. What is all this about? Law enforcement wants us to just accept their determination of when force is necessary. But they've shown live, in some cases, that they don't have a clue of when it is necessary. If you can't determine that people clearly marked as press with a camera, with mics and everything else, are not a threat to you, then you shouldn't have a badge. And if you used force knowing that they weren't a threat to you, then you shouldn't have a badge. If it was confusing and you even had a moment of thinking, oh, well, maybe this is dangerous, you shouldn't have a badge. That's the important takeaway. Law enforcement has a really poor record of being able to threat assess. Maybe we need more classes on threat assessment and less on being a warrior cop. You got to get home at the end of your shift. Because the problem is they bought into their own propaganda. They're concerned about that. They're worried. The reality is being a cop is not that dangerous. I know that flies in the face of everything you get told every day. Look it up, Bureau of Labor Statistics. Fishermen, loggers, roofers, pizza delivery drivers, all have more dangerous jobs. Being a cop isn't even in the top 10. I would suggest that the fact that the majority of this country holds their pizza delivery driver to a higher standard in regards to the accuracy of their order than they do law enforcement in regards to the accuracy of their bullets might be part of the problem. Especially when they have demonstrated live, on the air in some cases, that they cannot determine what a threat is or is not. That's a much more important takeaway. It is much more relevant to this conversation. Because journalists, they're going to ride into this stuff. They love it. And as far as, I'm sure the claim's going to come out, well, they weren't complying or something. They're going to make something up. These were corporate journos, okay? I might buy that if it was indie correspondents, because they do have a habit of telling law enforcement to go somewhere else. But these people worked for CNN and local affiliates. No, no, that's not happening. You could say that for somebody else. This is something that needs to be addressed. And it needs to be done quickly. And this is something that everybody should be pushing their local department for before there's a problem. Only you can stop city fires. Anyway, it's just a thought. Y'all have a good day.